Awesome. We are on.
Okay.
Let's go. Please state your name, title, and company affiliation.
Okay. Hi, my name is Stuart Lackey. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Solister. We're a digital technology company, healthcare, centered around distributed ledger technology. And specifically, we're working on an interoperability standard data language based on HL7 FHIR. The standard is called Go70, and we're doing that in collaboration with Vanderbilt University. At full scale, Solister is a full ecosystem of decentralized applications, and where appropriate, patient health data may be exchanged via blockchain technology. So we're really excited about the project and happy to be here.
Can you talk a little bit more about your background related to blockchain and healthcare and how you've kind of migrated your way to where you are today?
Sure. So I spent the last 15 years in healthcare building disruptive technologies on the surgical device side. So companies that would take both an economic and clinical value proposition to the healthcare system and then train surgical teams, go into the operating room and ensure and support physicians and physician teams to make sure those surgeries had good outcomes. And so been very interested and motivated to help healthcare systems increase the quality of care and decrease the quantity of care. In the most recent 3 years, went back and got my master's in healthcare informatics, and around that same time, blockchain kind of came across my path through some colleagues in the space, and became immediately interested in really the power or the potential to empower disparate patient populations, not just here in the United States, but abroad as well. And I still believe that there's tremendous potential that distributed ledger technology is a component of solving some of the global health issues that we have, and kind of restructuring the incentive models. So that's kind of where our interest is and what we're really focused on.
So now kind of pivoting off of that, this book opportunity comes up. What did you contribute to the book? What was the topic you decided to delve into, and why was that something that you wanted to discuss?
Sure. So our area of focus really centers around partnership. Again, Solister at full scale is an ecosystem of decentralized applications and solutions. One of those we recently partnered with is a project in a company called Good Shepherd Pharmacy. And Good Shepherd is a community-based pharmacy that does not take insurance. And we fundamentally believe that if we're really going to disrupt healthcare for the better, that some of the kind of the legacy models that are in place with the incumbents, specifically insurance, and the cost transparencies around that need to fundamentally change. And so what Good Shepherd has done is taken a membership model within the community pharmacy and does not accept insurance, and is break even and very close to being profitable in an active model that works. And they want to take an element of their solution and what they're doing in the community model, a pharmacy model, and put it on distributed ledger technology. So we're helping them do that. They're the first decentralized app to build on Solister, part of our ecosystem, and we're going to help them build out that technology and make that work. And so the write-up is really around that model. And then subsequently, there's some other applications around the pharmacy model and kind of taking specifically chemotherapy drugs that are not being used and otherwise would be tossed out, that can sometimes cost tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars over time, and we're basically reclaiming those medicines. Phil Baker, the CEO of Good Shepherd and Remedy Chain, is working on that. So we're excited to partner with them on it and bring that to blockchain and DLT.
So what do you think are some of the most pressing issues that must be solved in blockchain and healthcare?
Yeah, it's really, that's a great question. And the conference that we're attending, Distributed Health, really is one of the fundamental points of the conference is to really speak to those issues. And so at Solister, and I'm not the only one that feels this way in the industry, but we fundamentally believe that some major shifts have to happen over time for healthcare really to work in a positive way. And so there's kind of three rules, right, in healthcare when you think about somebody's health. The first thing is kind of in line with the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. The second, I would say, would be to enhance the quality of life. And the third thing would be to extend the quality of life. And so the questions that we ask when we look at projects that we're trying to support and bring into our marketplace, if you will, are they solving some of those major pain points, right? Are they increasing the quality of care? Are they decreasing the quantity of care, lowering the cost? And to us, those are really the huge opportunities. And that requires a new way of thinking. A lot of the solutions that we're seeing are kind of have the existing architecture in mind. It's like, how can you work with the existing regulatory environment, which is important, by the way, but how can you work with the existing hospital system. Well, we're contemplating new ways of thinking, even about the site of care model, and how can we create incentive structures, some of which may be tokenized, not all, to achieve basically some new patient behavior incentives, and how do you get the patient to be more involved and responsible for their own healthcare, and that just doesn't mean their own data. That means their choices, behavior, things that they can do. We all need to remember the goal is to actually use healthcare less, not more, right? And so those are some fundamental philosophies that we believe and we're trying to advance.
So as you look at that advancement, you start looking into, we're coming up on 2019. Mm-hmm. What excites you about 2019 and beyond?
Yeah, it's projects like Good Shepherd. It's projects like ours that we're trying to actually create a new model. We're looking at overseas opportunities where we're working with some folks that don't have the barriers necessarily that we have in the U.S. to try different implementation. Certainly blockchain is a big part of it. That's not the only technology solution, but there are other places outside the U.S. that we think we can make it perhaps even a more quicker impact, more efficient impact, a shorter timeline than here in the States. So I'm excited about some of the new models people are thinking about. I'm excited about some of the proof of concept projects that people have been talking about for the last couple of years that are now coming to fruition. So it's taking the next step, and this is the third distributed conference, and it's exciting to see kind of the growth, the mindset, with the quality of projects that are happening. And then, the ultimate question is like, how do we all play nicely together, right? How does this all become somehow interoperable at some point on a bigger scale? And so, those are questions, and I think the market will solve some of those, will answer some of those questions over time. But yeah, those are some of the things that we're really excited about as we move forward.
So in conclusion, do you have anything that you want to say to readers? Any thoughts, any comments, anything that you think is important for them to have in mind going into this book?
Yeah, I think just to be open-minded, and as a patient, if you're reading this as a patient, and even if you're not, even if you're a practitioner or administrator within healthcare, is to think differently about health. And what I mean by that, think of it as an asset, right? I mean, so patients, we need to arm them in this new age of technology. Really, how can they own their own data? What does that mean? And potentially, how do the incentive models change? And everybody potentially has to be willing to give something up. Like, someone had the question today, the large hospital systems that now kind of dominate the U.S. market, right? It's quite possible that model won't work in 20 years, right? And so site of care is shifting. And so I would just say for anybody reading the book, just to kind of think about new models of how we can rethink about healthcare and access and delivery and insurance and payments, because it's that kind of thinking that's really going to take us to a different place and really away from an unsustainable spend of healthcare, which is, I guess, around $4 trillion a year. So a great opportunity, and this book, I think, provides some context for all that.
Great, Stuart.
Yep.
That's it, man.
Yep.
Appreciate
awesome,
it.
man. Yeah, hope that